What's up, everyone? We're here at 216 Page Street, about to do our virtual walkthrough. Give you guys the full tour here. Get all the updates here. Oh, Jonathan Nelson's here. Live stream. What's up, dude? 40. Yeah, no, I am, yeah. Oh, sorry. But you're good. Sorry.
Hey, John.
What's going on?
Just showing them.
No.
Any questions for the email information? What are the rents going for?
I'm not sure I know. Yeah. 2-bed, 1-bath, and 1-bed, 1-bath. Downtown Elgin. I mean, I was gonna say 16. Yeah, I was gonna say that 16, maybe 18, 19 for the 2-bed, 1-bath, maybe 16 for the 1-bed. I mean, they're gonna be brand new, right? It's all electric, so it should be pretty good.
Awesome. We'll just follow me in a straight line. We'll just go upstairs to the second floor.
All right. What's going on? What's the good word? Oh yeah. Oh, you're good. There's a mock-up.
I love the look on your face.
care about keeping a lot of.
Yeah.
Because like you should probably follow us on Instagram because we have a lot of before pictures. So you'll see a lot of the elevator shaft, a lot of the old like mechanicals, and that'll probably give you an idea of like how dated this building was.
Oh, cool.
So yeah. I'm sorry, this is the larger of the two units on the second floor. The stairwell that you just took is a newly built stairwell. The one that I mentioned on the first floor, right behind the brick wall that we demoed, was the stairwell that we would use to come to this floor, but that got demoed, so this is the newer one. As you can see right behind you, that's the utility closet in this space. We've got this big living room right here, kitchen again right here. One of the bedrooms, the bathroom right here, and this is the second bedroom. So this is a big two bed, one bath unit. One bedroom, second bedroom. This is the master closet for this bedroom, and they share the same bathroom, the two units. It's a pretty easy layout to understand. This used to be a fitness studio of some sort, so the graphics on the walls. But like you can see the windows too, like extremely old. They wanted us to keep it that way. Even the newer windows have to like match very, very, very similar to this style and design. So what would you do in this situation? Would you replace? Would you mix and match? So we have to listen to the ACC on that. So the ACC's first recommendation always repair. But they also are a bit pragmatic where they know like some of the artists and people who can kind of repair these are not the one we can hear. And so we can, well, I think that their first preference is always repairing as much as you can, but sometimes repairing restorative or like antique stuff like this is more expensive than even custom window option that we might go with. And so for this project, we're going to be with custom windows with Anderson windows. So maybe you guys can follow me. Any other questions in your tool one?
Sorry.
Oh, okay.
Okay, so it's like the open.
Right, yeah.
Okay, gotcha.
Do you have any plans for installation?
Yeah. No, we're gonna do installation here. It's gonna be kind of a lot of the openings that we're gonna make. It has to have like really good fire stop insulation as well as just like closing those gaps. And obviously joints and stuff. But not in the walls, obviously.
Anything for soundproofing?
Yeah, the owners like it for that. I think it's definitely like a good cap kind of option. I don't think it's required for code soundproofing. But I think that's the case.
The exterior wall would be insulated.
No, like I don't think the walls are insulated. The nuclear frame might be, but the roof is where the roof and like so all these like brick openings that we might do, we have to make sure that all the gaps are sealed properly so that there's no draft. But brick insulated is pretty well as well. So
All those bricks would be painted.
yeah, no, we're definitely not leaving them this way. I mean, maybe this one because the drywall would be up here. Not sure if the plan is to kind of paint this because it would make sense. We're going to put drywall here. But those are there. Any other questions? Sounds good. Please follow me. This is unit 200 of the building. All the other units on the third and fourth floor share a very similar or pretty much the exact same floor plan as this floor plan. You got the bathroom right there behind John. You got a bedroom right behind John now. This is the living room. And the kitchen's going to be L-shaped right there as you walk in. This is going to be utility and the washer dryer. And right there, the brick wall that you see is kind of my favorite part about this whole project. That is the elevator stairwell that I was talking about from like 1900s and 1800s. So they're a really cool project in terms of getting all those mechanicals out, cleaning up that opening, bringing up that opening, making sure we can now use this as like a unit rather than for like. So just to give you an idea, obviously like, we saw us on Instagram on QB because you can see the before picture, so you can kind of like understand after spoken like what it looked like. This whole thing is just an opening. I could have fallen into it, just So yeah, we bring this up. We're gonna put drywall over it. Nobody would even know it was like an open elevator shaft.
Yeah, I think it was one of the first elevators in Elgin. So yeah, yeah, it was very, very old. So they actually had to have a crane to get all the pieces out. So they took a crane. Actually, it's in that parking lot there. Its boom came up over top and came down into the shaft to remove all of the pieces. So particularly the heavier ones, which couldn't be
And we definitely have
lifted by hand.
pictures of those on our Instagram as well, so definitely check those out for sure. Any questions for this floor plan or anything you see that stands out to you?
We have some plans here too. We have some
Right,
plans
right.
downstairs. If you want to, yeah, take a look at them.
Wood framing versus metal framing. I don't know. Usually cost. Metal framing is way more expensive than wood framing, but if you're not doing a project where it structurally is required, metal framing is not the answer. John, are you gonna add there?
I think also commercially a fire rating. So, obviously wood's combustible. So a lot of times the commercial properties that have a required fire rating will have to use the metal. I mean, any of the fire rated walls are two layers of 5/8" drywall, but you could probably also use like a metal stud and something less thick. So
Hey guys. Yeah, so just to kind of like tag on to what John said, yeah, so you as a homeowner, as a time, your options are either doing the metal framing, which itself is a little expensive, or do wood framing, and everywhere where the code says you need to have fire rated walls, you just put a double layer of drywall. And so I mean, it's a give and take depending on how much fire rated walls you have. Maybe the solid cost kind of add up to what steel framing would be. But in most cases, I think wood framing is usually cheaper, so it's just yeah, unless it's a commercial building, not really required. Awesome. Any other questions? Okay.
What about the flooring? Sorry.
The flooring, again, like that's a good question. HTC has a lot of say in this item again, because they want to try to keep this, but as you can see, it's not going to be easy to repair this, right? So we're going to try, but I think our pivot is going to be into getting brand new floors for everywhere and try to get that approved. But our first preference, like I mentioned downstairs, is always to repair first, if possible, and then see what the pivot option would be. Very good.
Yeah, plumbing wise, do you guys typically use copper here or is it used?
Yeah, the supply lines are always copper nowadays. And the drains and the vents, as you can see, are all PVC pipes. We haven't gotten to the supply stage yet, just because we wanted that extra. Right. We just started. We didn't really want to do too much of it. We didn't have a plumber on site yet, so yeah. Now that the plumber's back on our books in terms of schedule, we're gonna get a lot more copper to start doing all the rock plumbing. So copper lines are the supply lines.
And heating and cooling, do you guys typically use mini splits or are you using the furnace?
That's a really good question. So for this project, it's gonna be mini splits. Usually, I haven't seen that mini split, but yeah, I'll have to defer to John on that one. Did you know why they chose mini splits here?
yeah, I think it was the size of the units mainly, and then also that with the mini splits, we have to use it in combination with radiant heat as well, because the mini splits only work down to a certain temperature. So if they get down to 0, they won't be able to keep up, and so you have to have supplemental heat as well typically. So and I think they might have got some different grants as well for using the mini splits too.
I guess the supplemental radiant heat, is that like a boiler system?
It's electric baseboard heat.
So the tenants still.
Correct. Yeah.
Any other questions before we move up? Call me.
Damn, look at that. I even got the shirt jacket now. Whew.
I saw it on the side. Well, I'll try not to bore you guys because as you can see, the floor plan pretty much the same. And so I'll also spare you guys something on the fourth floor, unless you guys want to, but it's the same exact floor plan as the second floor. It's just gonna be one unit here. The only place where there's two units is on the first floor, and as you saw on the second floor with the two doors. So the third floor and the fourth floor have the same plan. You're gonna have your utility closet right there, washer dryer right there. We close up the elevator shaft right behind you over there. Got the bathroom, bedroom, living area, kitchen right behind there over there on that wall. And yeah, any questions? There's not much else different from the downstairs plan.
Curious about the electrical on like the break finish here, would it just be conduit and down or?
It would be. After the kitchen, that'll be a little different because that'll be behind the walls. Kitchens are like kind of drywall, as you can see, not exposed. But yeah, in the exposed area, correct. Well, I think we still need to finalize with the ACC whether there was like a specific color or something like that in order to like hide the copper or not copper, the silver color.
Yeah.
So maybe they want us to paint it red or something like that to match this. But yeah. Any other questions?
Does the joist looks different from downstairs? Was there like more of a bench here or?
Yeah, it's made up way worse in some areas compared to the other ones. Do you know if there was a fire damage?
Don't know.
That's definitely some areas much more shoddy than the other. And yeah, we're going to be addressing those as well. Like obviously, extra framing. I would consider looking at those joists because we knew that these were not going to be able to support everything. But yeah.
What would be the solution? Just like adding.
Great question again. I think so. For a final answer, you would need a structural engineer to stamp it. But I would say the common solutions are either just replacing the whole joist and putting in a new one, sistering them, maybe putting steel beams if you want to reduce the number of joists. Any other options, Sean?
No.
Those are most common. Sistering is kind of like just putting a newer one and attaching it to the older one. Yeah, like this, yeah, I think you can see that this is what sistering is. Like you see like two combined together. That's what sistering is. Like you can kind of see it. A newer one would just be like essentially this has stopped giving us the same load factors that we can kind of use. So putting in a new one kind of just reuse that, right? Because it has these ability, they just don't have the same elastic ability to keep taking on the same load as time goes by. So like putting in a new LVO choice would be bad. Would be removing these, putting in brand new ones, and making sure they're anchored correctly and transferring the load correctly. And then steel beam is just like I think steel is much stronger in general, but it's obviously way more expensive in buying as well as like installing. But yeah, like I think those are the 3 point options. Anything else? Awesome. Yeah. John, did you have anything else on the agenda?
No. I mean, we can take them up to the 5th floor, the best view. But yeah, otherwise,
Maybe we should just check it out. As you can see, I know there were a few comments about lack of windows on the first floor. All the other floors are definitely getting the better deal. With this, as you can see, like with the sunlight, the morning sunlight's really nice here on this floor, second floor, third floor, or the fourth floor. Sorry. So we can definitely go look up. Like you'll probably not have this building blocking your too, so you can get more sunlight in here.
and also on the first floor, there's the cutouts still, right?
Right.
So that should bring in some more light too. So
Just in consideration of windows, like this location, would you like decide on maybe adding a window here versus creating a window somewhere else and reusing space like this? I'm not saying you're particularly in another location.
No, for sure. I think for ease of just scheduling or speed, with understanding that ACC takes a while to get approved, for example, just to give you guys some context, we got the quote from Anderson Windows, sent it over to the tax commission. It took them around 8 weeks to review that quote and approve it back. So that's like 8 weeks worth of like, this is not like we didn't put the order in, because the windows also have a lead time of 8 weeks. So 8 weeks of processing to get approved so that we can go to Home Depot and process the order and wait 8 more weeks to get the windows. So I think in terms of saving time, I think the architect and the owners probably would have thought repairing would be the fastest, replacing would be the second fastest, and then I think thinking about cutouts would be the third fastest. Because if you're going to be doing cutouts, you're going to have to go through the whole 9 yards would be 8 plus 8 weeks, 16 weeks.
So there's no benefit of doing one that's been filled in versus creating your own.
I don't
Structurally or anything like that.
I think that would require having it dealt with the city, that would deal with extra timeline, we're talking now. Structural changes. That was already, well, then now you gotta get them to approve that, plus you have to have the headers and all that, so even though it was there at one time, if it's as it is, you need reapproval. So that would be for the window process for approval.
Yeah, I think like in order to make the most sense of it and try to like save as much time as possible, if you're ever thinking about something like the question you're asking, always be bringing this up to your GC and architect before the project starts, saves the most amount of time. If this was a thought that came after we're already boots on the ground, not a good idea.
If there's, unless there's something obvious structurally when the inspectors come through for the initial, they'll consider it grandfathered. That is approved as is. If you want to change it, you need to start that process.
Ready to go for 4? Now you can still lead the way. We have like a ENC is just want to ask me a question about the flooring that ENC really bad. So we'll have to figure this one out with the HTC, try to see what they want to do because they obviously we're on boots on the ground. We can see it with our eyes. We know it's not that good. They're not here in person, so they can only see it from our picture. So they might still think that we can salvage this, but yeah, it's gonna be tough. We'll see that all of that. Right. Right, well, it's going to be a decision between our site manager and the clients and the HTC on what we want to do here proceeding. Like I mentioned, same floor plan. You get the height, so like obviously the clearance of the windows is kind of nice. The view is kind of nice. In the morning, sunlight's really good in these units. Any questions?
Yeah, when in terms of the flooring, what can you do? Can you put like vinyl planks?
For this project, no. In general, like that's a good option to have a repeat on as flooring. In this project, they wouldn't allow it. They want to try to like have the hardwood floors.
But they make you match the hardwood floors then?
They are trying to, yeah. And we're trying to match their standards.
What kind of wood do you have to use?
That's a good question. I don't think we have like because we haven't like I think obviously you don't want to think about things that are still like a bit further ahead. So like we're doing the masonry right now. I think flooring is probably still like a 1.5 away from actually getting to it. So we haven't like gone too deep into talking with the HTC and getting all the answers you're asking about. So I'm not really sure exactly what kind of flooring this is, but I think our game plan is going to be is to take like a few pictures, maybe a few samples, stuff like all the way off the ground. That's disconnected, and then we can take it to our common suppliers to get a idea of like what kind of wood it is, if there's anybody where there's like salvaged wood that we can kind of buy from someone to hopefully try to repair or like patch and stuff like that. So yeah, it's definitely an open-ended item, the flooring, just because we still need to get more directive from the HTC, understanding what exactly it is they want, and also then take it to the clients and make sure it kind of fits within our budget and their budget, because like, we don't want to blow the project up for this item. So.
Just like timeline wise, like what is your like expected time to like finish this and where are you at right now?
Gotcha. Good question. Yeah. Originally we had set 8 or 9 months. We did get a move on the framing in the mortar. So right now we're kind of shared out a month after that timeline. So it's like looking more like 7 to 8 months for this whole thing, for the whole project. And I would say currently we're at month number 3 of this project. So we still got like, I don't think we're gonna take 5 months to finish this off, but it's good to have that. That timeline, we're obviously always trying to reduce it. So I think we'll be closer to like 4 months, 3.5 months. So we're pushing nonstop to get out the fastest. But we're at month 3 of an 8-month project. So we have 5 months, but we'll try to get it done like 3 months, 3.5, maybe 4. So yeah, I would just like to have that buffer, especially when we're dealing with the HTC. And a lot of the times it's lag times, right? Like if something's submitted to the HTC and we can't really work on that item, so that's like a day loss, right?
So what's your plans on electrical panels for each unit? Are they gonna be housed in one location or?
They are. So yeah, it's gonna be downstairs. We didn't really check the basement out, but like, you know, we have like this, it's gonna be an unfinished basement, so there's a lot of room to work with in the basement. There's also like I mentioned, there's like this consortium of all these buildings that are almost like attached to each other in a way, right? So they all kind of share like a utility room that's right in the middle. I don't know if you'll be able to see it from here, but I had it has like the water pumps, all that stuff. We're gonna have to add like a fire sprinkler system in this building, which I didn't mention. So yeah, we're gonna have to add like a fire sprinkler system in this building. So that part of the 4-inch pipe coming in from the city. So that'd be like a huge 4-inch incoming water supply. So that's all gonna be housed. I can show you once we walk out the building where the common utility room is, but it's a huge room, a lot of space. Like fortunately, this project doesn't really have issues with where utilities are. There's a lot of unfinished space to use.
Are the units fully electric?
Yeah, not all plants are electric, correct?
Low voltage or any like speakers, anything like that, is there any kind
There's gonna be like a fire alarm system in conjunction with the fire sprinkler system, so that's kind of like a speaker in a way, but I know nothing like that.
access control or the bottom one? I haven't seen that.
Yeah, no, we're gonna be exiting to the beauty tree, so yeah, we can talk about that there.
I don't think that's something they've decided on yet as far as access control for like push button entry and stuff like that. So
Yeah, so far they're just like to do like standard security system with a few cameras and a few pads. So that's also like for now for all the construction lines going. I'm not sure what their actual plan is once we have tangible project to them, but that will be a kind of decision 100%. And yeah, just a note on the electrical question. The reason why they elected to do all the appliances electric is sometimes, or I guess like a lot of the appliances, the gas ones are more efficient than the electric ones. Get the job done, but the reason why they wanted to do electrical appliances is because gas appliances have to be vented. Again, with the HTC, that was a huge problem maintenance to the sites. So they only want us to vent through the roof. And a lot of these utility rooms, if you go in there and start looking up, there's a lot of these joists and beams running the so it's a really tough, we're still trying to work with our HVAC subcontractor to figure out what the run and the chase is going to be for the vents. But you can see like it's nothing going to be an issue because the HTC has a problem with going to the side and most of the roof is going to be an issue with the joist. So still to be decided, but that's definitely one of the reasons why the owner selected doing the electrical appliances, because with the gas appliances, the number of vents will just increase. Right. Yeah.
Did you have to do anything special for like lead and asbestos removal?
At the start of the project, no. That's usually at the start of the project, we didn't do anything.
no, it was already vacant, so there wasn't any issues with any.
So the city wouldn't like make you, have like special licensed removal workers to do that?
There just wasn't any asbestos or lead paint.
If a violation was noted, they'd probably make you do it.
Right.
But there's no violation noted at this property.
And there's a difference between known and suspected, probably. If you don't know it's there. If you
So
know
like they
it's
don't have to
there,
make it tested or anything.
there's no other-
Correct.
you don't know that. I mean, honestly, but you would think because of the age, but that doesn't. And this building was pretty gutted anyway.
Yeah, it was fully gutted pretty much.
Just think about like rain and stuff like that and like the shape of the roof sometimes, especially with buildings like this old. I don't know if you had any issues.
So it was a flat roof. it is a flat roof, sorry. It is a flat roof. In our original agreement with the owners, what we had proposed or what we had was to only redo the roof wherever the elevator shafts, like that's almost like a rectangle that you're seeing right there. Just imagine going all the way to the roof. So like when we break this opening up, we obviously open up that patch of the roof. So this rectangle that you see has been opened up on the roof and we installed a new roof. That was for the original agreement. But once we, like you mentioned, like obviously like with the older buildings, the clients, and we were also worried about exactly what you're asking, right? So what we suggested to the owners was like, oh yeah, this is definitely much more shot than we thought it was. So once we redid that patch of the roof, we just discussed that we have to redo the whole thing. There were just multiple layers of forced down bitumen roofing. And so it was super old, definitely some areas where there's definitely gonna be leaks in the future. So if you're already gonna be spending so much money on improving the value of your asset and property, that you don't really want to skip on that cost to remove and all of this stuff. So yeah, we're still working with them, but they're definitely planning to elect and just redo the whole roof. So we're gonna do torch down roof again, but a new one. Any other questions before we can just do a quick walk through to the fourth floor for anybody who wants to? If you doesn't want to, you can obviously also leave if you guys don't have any other questions. There's not much more to the floor plan of the projects. So yeah, you can head up.
Might be coming to finish.
So I'm not part of Mastery, although I've been friends with Andrew for a while now. Kind of teeter-tottered back on kind of joining just to, get some better networking and stuff like that.
Right.
Finish.
Oh yeah. Hopefully, we need to get a group picture. We can walk down there.
I know somebody asked about the entrance and the access, so kind of like the landing right here. This is the new stairs, right? This is your unit. Or the unit. And essentially, you would take a left right there to exit the elevator. Any questions? If not,